and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello and welcome to Kill James Bond.
Oh my god. Joined by a Victorian author.
You mention in passing that you're doing a little bit of voice training, and all of a sudden it becomes part of a long bit, most of which we didn't record.
Damn right, you're mentioning it in passing. God damn, you sound great.
Thank you.
We're also discussing this is how November's slightly voice trained voice also shifted her accent, as it did to mine a little bit.
It did.
So
yes, yes.
Hello to posh November. Hi.
The higher it gets, the posher it gets as well. And so if I fully hit the hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond, then it really it goes somewhere.
God, yeah, damn right it goes somewhere.
No, you need voice training coaches with regional accents. It's a shame that it's like a posh voice girl's job.
That is true.
Otherwise, you'll end up with a fucked mid-Atlantic accent like me.
Well, I like
Sound
your
great.
accent. Here's the thing: if I go into it and the sort of trade-off is, well, you have to do a lot of training, but you sound like Nigella Lawson. It's like, okay, when do I have to get you the money?
Yeah, it's
this is not a sort of a problem for me. But yeah, no, I'm experimenting with these things. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime.
Yeah, anyway, welcome to Kill James Bond.
Right.
Yeah, so we're in robbery season.
Welcome to this sadly not award-winning podcast.
Oh, yeah, this award-losing podcast.
We fucking
World
didn't get it.
historically washed.
Oh, we got fucking owned.
I don't remember what we lost to. I wasn't even able to make it down for the ceremony.
We lost to a guy who didn't even fucking turn up.
So fucked up. We need to talk, yeah.
Well, I didn't turn up, so...
Listeners, thank you to everyone who voted for us in the ITVB Creator Podcast of the Year Awards. Dev and I went down, we got fucking owned. As soon as we got in there, we realized we weren't going to win because it's really corporate friendly and
The second we opened up the little itinerary I've got it in front of us here, and we saw that there's a massive judging panel that comprises 60% of the vote. We were like, oh, we're so fucked.
Got Eurovision.
We thought it was audience vote. We thought we were going to walk
audience.
it, but no, 60% judges votes, and we were like, oh no.
Yeah.
You won the people's vote. Stop the steal. Is the official message of Kill James Bond. We are going to the ITVB Creator Awards. We're doing the thing that Trump did with Erdogan, where we're like, and this guy knows something about rigging elections, am I right?
Yeah.
They're all from talent agencies, dude. I'm looking at them now. It's so funny to imagine any single one of these people listening to any episode of
And I was like,
James
we're
Bond.
not brand friendly. We once
We're so
opened a
fucked.
podcast asking listeners to kill certain people within the UK. And also Dev and I, we did also RuPaul it as soon as our category was announced and we lost. We just got up and left.
Well, I also
That's
finished off the
beautiful.
bottle of wine that was on the table before we...
Was it at least an open bar?
It was. Yes, we did get properly drunk on the ITVB
Good.
Creator dime.
Good. Thank you to them for that. Thank you to the fans. But a sort of note of caution that please, next time we do one of these, you have to cheat that much harder. I mean, vote that much harder.
Yeah, you need to be voting from everywhere you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Multiple times a day.
More people and then vote as them. But we're in robbery season.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to talk about this film. This is a great heist film. It's one I've seen, a dozen times or something like. And I have this thesis that I've developed about Jonathan Glazer, which is I think he gets one film that is really seminal per decade. In the sense that I think The Zone of Interest is the film of the 2020s. I think if you had to pick one to say, here is what the decade is like, that's it, regrettably.
Yes.
I think Under the Skin is the film of the 2010s in the sense of what was that like? What was the kind of alienation and austerity and war on terror? What was that like? And I really believe that Sexy Beast is the film of the 2000s. It's in the wake of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, really, which we will do, really revitalizing the heist film as a genre. And it was Jonathan Glazer's first film. He had previously done music videos and ads, and tried to make the same jump that Guy Ritchie did from doing those to doing a very stylish kind of British criminal film. And I think his is considerably more interesting.
I am really interested in this hypothesis that it's the film of the decade because I don't remember the 2000s, the noughties, all that well. I did enjoy this film, but I don't think I remember the noughties well enough to understand how this might be capturing the decade. So I'm interested to hear more.
As an old, right, just to sort of get you thinking, what I would suggest the 2000s in Britain were a kind of like more comfortable. You're into like Nathan Barley, the early years of Britpop, things can only get better. You're into a kind of generational transfer of wealth away from the working class in like unseen since the 80s, but with a kind of slightly nicer veneer over it. And I think that's one of the things that I want to talk about in this movie is this movie's ideas about class and about new money, right? But so we begin with what had become at the time a kind of criminal type, right? Which is gangsters who had made their fortune and then gone to the Costa Brava or the Costa del Sol in Spain, where there was sort of like next to no extradition and nobody was looking for them, and they just bought a villa and they just kind of just simmered there.
Just hung out.
And we begin with a huge, extremely red, extremely sunburned Ray Winston, guy we love to see, gonna hit the at this point. Just being baked, being melted by the side of his pool.
You get the sun way before you get him. It's just like a shot straight up into the sky of the sun. It feels hot, and you just hear Ray Winston talking to himself, being like, "I'm roasting, I'm boiling."
Bacon.
He thinks to himself,
he loves it.
Who wouldn't lap this up, right? Like, he's in paradise. And we see him kind of like searing on this sun lounger as this like teenage Spanish pool boy just kind of like sweeps the leaves, and he kind of like chides him in a kind of avuncular way.
He's wearing tiny yellow Speedos.
Yeah. We see him apply like an ice cold towel on his dick to like stop his dick from getting sunburned.
Fair play.
Yeah, we see him get up and they're like literally dick first over the title card, Sexy Beast, because he is the Sexy Beast from Sexy Beast. And just sort of like lumbering around dick first because none of his limbs work because he's just kind of broiled himself. And he's just kind of he's taking this all in because he is living in paradise. Gets out of his sun lounger, and we get a perfect kind of visual comedy bit as this huge boulder begins to roll down the hill behind him, just in shot.
It's almost perfectly spherical too. It's like an Indiana Jones ass boulder. God knows where this came from, which I think is part of the point. But it misses his head by inches, I would say, and goes boom and smashes into the pool. And it's just like, oh fuck! He like so nearly died.
You get a perfect comic reaction off of that, where he gets like all of the pool water thrown over him, and he's just completely blindsided by this. There's a bit. His wife is driving back from town, and he and the pool boy dive into the pool. And as she looks down into the pool at the boulder, there's a perfectly comic bit where he points at the boulder and says "boulder" underwater.
The bubbles just rush out.
It's Homer Simpson. This is an idiot. Like we like
Crime
this guy already.
It's funny.
Exactly.
His wife Dee Dee lives with him in this Spanish villa, and that night his mates come over for a barbecue. His mates H and Jackie. And they're like, you've got a fucking boulder in your pool. He's like, yeah, this big disaster missed me by inches. Lucky old me, I guess.
Not going to learn any lessons from this.
Sure, this won't be the theme.
No, and we get the sense that this is like
the events of the movie. It's just
if anything, I feel more safe now.
You really do get the sense as well that this is like every night for him is spent with his wife and this other couple who they're friends with.
Just to reinforce the theme of like shit is almost happening to this guy, the barbecue like flames up and like nearly sets him on fire. And he's like, oh fucking hell, just had another lucky escape. That's crazy.
Yeah,
another lucky break for Gal. Fantastic.
We see that H has this habit of like bullshitting him, and he tries to do this about the pool water.
So good. Yeah.
Because he's got the pool boy to like call his friend with a truck to like move the pool and get it retiled. The boulder, by the way, has landed on a very kind of, it's quite a David Hockney pool. And on the bottom of it, it's got in the tiling 2 love hearts, which the boulder has landed smack in the middle of and obliterated. But so H is like, you can get pool water in different colors, right? Like you've just got the plain in there, but you can get it in like aquamarine. And this is such a kind of like obvious old sore to all of them that like they're all laughing, but it's something that like he just does. It's like your friend's most treasured and most familiar bit.
Yeah, he's just pulling his leg with it. It's cool. And we hear in voiceover Ray Winston saying to himself, like, that, he's in paradise. Don't miss England. It's a shithole full of cunts. Spain is really hot.
I have the line. I don't have the actual drop, but he says, grey, grimy, sooty, every cunt with a long face shuffling about, moaning, all worried.
Yeah, he's like playing out like a fake conversation in his head, and he's like, "Do you miss it? What, England? Fucking place. It's a dump. It's a shithole.
Yeah, it's a toilet." Like I really like this. It's like England for him is like the land of care, right?
Yeah.
And Spain, just the opposite. It's perfect here, and one of the reasons why it's perfect here is because his wife is here. Dee Dee, who is like framed in these like sort of like beautiful, loving shots. He's so kind to her. He does literally blow a heart-shaped smoke ring at her at one point.
You're right about the shots too, November, because it's not Dee Dee's an attractive lady, but it's not framed as objectifying. He really does look at her with real love.
Oh yeah, this is a guy who loves his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We see them having sex, and like they are, I guess, imagine themselves or are shown to be in the sky above this Spanish town. Because it's just, that's how it feels being with her.
Yeah, it's this beautiful kind of dream sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so obviously everything's going to stay perfect forever, right? Because fiction's about stuff that goes right.
There's a second boulder on its way, starting in England.
The second boulder was the barbecue. There's a third boulder.
Yeah.
It's a third boulder.
Well, before we get to the third boulder, they go hunting, sort of.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that so it's him, H, and their Spanish pool boy, and H is dressed up like a cowboy. It's pretty clear that they're not seriously hunting anything so much as this is an excuse to piss about.
Yes.
They don't hit anything, and then H has this moment where he sees like a very young rabbit that he's, that's just by the side of the road scared. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to kill that over the objections of Gal, who's like, it's just a kid. And H goes to shoot it, and he's got this like lever action rifle, and he pulls the lever action, and the whole trigger just disassembles itself.
Yeah. It just comes apart.
Yeah, and you cut to Gal in a restaurant later telling Dee Dee about this and being like, cowboy gun, fucking right, it was a cowboy gun. It's like this is really hysterical.
Good. It's like this man is retired as fuck, and he's loving it.
Yeah. It's just like old bastard activity. He's in this restaurant. He orders the calamari. He has so clearly ordered the calamari every week for like years at this point. And it's just he's got a suit on that looks like Miami Vice. It's just, this is his happy place.
Yeah, he's having a great time. At this point, we get some great acting because H and Jackie walk into dinner and they've got a face like death.
Yeah.
Something has gone wrong. And they immediately pick up on it. They're like, what's going on? Have you had a row? Like, what's happened? And they're like, I need a drink. Let's do it.
And the penny sort of slowly drops because it's Jackie, H's wife, who ends up having to tell him that they got a phone call. And just when they say a phone call from London, Gal looks as if he has been sentenced to death.
Yeah.
Like there's this kind of resignation, because until then he's trying to like paper over it and be kind of jovial. And then he realizes that the call is for him, and they want, as he says, they don't want no one else, they want me.
Yeah,
like,
it's a job. And he's like,
there's no pride in that as well. There's no ego in that whatsoever. It's purely, he is terrified.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, fine. Okay, you got a phone call. Someone's putting a job together. The answer's no. Okay, no problem. We don't need to worry about this.
You've asked me. I've said no. Fine.
Yeah, cool. No, thank you. I'm retired. Right. And it's not that simple. The phone call came from Don Logan, and it's just, his face is just like,
and this shits him up even further.
It's your third boulder on the way. Everyone's face just drops.
Christ.
And
then we see him try and spin the excuses where he's like, tell him thanks, but no thanks. No, you can't tell him that. Tell him, oh, fuck, tell him anything you like. No, the answer's no, I'm not doing it. And they're like, tell him yourself, he'll be here tomorrow. It's like, oh, fuck.
He tries to like sort of armor himself against this with the calamari as well, like the sort of psychologically load-bearing calamari of trying to like fuck around with the menu so he's not thinking about it. There's a beautiful bit right before like he learns that it's Don, where Jackie passes on the message that they say it's no risk, right? Whatever this job is. And you see him just go back in the mines for a second. And he talks about how much he loves the restaurant, how much he loves his wife, how much he loves his friends. And then he just says, just like in passing, 9 years of my fucking life, no risk, right? So like this has gone wrong for him
so
before.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, there is now a prequel series of this, which does not need to exist. It like, there is no reason for it, genuinely, because like,
is there actually?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't need to know how these two met. I don't need to know what he went to prison for. In fact, it's better if I don't.
Yeah, it's sufficient just for that line to be there on its own, just to be like, oh yeah, no, I've gone through all of this before. Like, that's annoying.
Yeah, and so I feel bad for everyone involved in like who has to like act in that and write that and direct that to be like, you could have done anything else, but this is the IP, you know?
Yeah.
We got to find out why he's called Han Solo.
Quite,
like,
right?
what are we doing here?
He has this kind of surreal dream sequence again where he's like eating at the restaurant table, which is now empty and in the middle of like the middle of a field. And he's still eating the calamari, and the rabbit comes back in the form of like a guy in a fucked up Donnie Darko.
Yeah, he looks like Frank the Rabbit off Donnie Darko.
Oh, I thought it was a Sasquatch. Yeah, I thought it was.
It's got little like bunny ears on the top, but it's like it looks real fucked up. And the rabbit like points a gun at him. It's like, this is the specter of like real violence coming back into your life, you know? Like, not pretending to shoot at rabbits and like having a piss up afterwards, but like the shit that you did and the shit that you tried to get away from is like on its way back.
Yeah, dressed as a cowboy. It does look like something from the Mighty Boosh, this, in a sort of scary way.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
In the middle of the night afterwards, he wakes up and he finds that his wife is like out staring at the pool, and she knows it's going to be bad, right? But he tries to kind of reassure her.
She even suggests that they run, and he says, no, that'll just make him even madder. It's like, oh, fuck, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Who is this motherfucker?
Who is this guy? Yeah. And he's like, look, all I can do is I'll tell him I'm not interested, and he'll be upset by it, but all I can do is tell him no, right? And I will tell him no. I will tell him no.
Yeah. And she goes, what if he hurts you?
I love that he absolutely means it, right? There is not a trace of him being tempted by this, or even of him sort of like just going along out of kind of cowardice. Like he knows what he's going to do is going to get him hurt, and she tells him as much.
The action is not the juice. My beautiful wife and my nice house in Spain is the juice for me, man. I'm done.
Your wife is for me. My wife is the juice. Yeah.
God, me too, man.
One of my favorite shots in this movie, it's just the back of Don Logan, Ben Kingsley's head,
fucking Kingsley.
his bald fucking head. Every muscle in this man's body is tensed, right? Like he's like a knuckle.
He is like a knuckle. That's such a good description.
He's walking through the airport. He's got his arms out like he's holding two invisible watermelons. Like he's got the tensed fucking body language.
It does hit some of the walks that Sean Penn does in One Battle After Another as well. It's not quite as weird or as comic as that, but it's just like very tense, very pugnacious. Right?
Gotta watch that.
And he's so... I was about to say erect. I don't mean his penis. I mean, like he's like so straight up and down. Like this character moves like he's in the fucking Navy SEALs.
It's interesting you mention this.
Yeah.
I also have a military comparison here later on. Yes.
Yeah, he moves like a fucking military psycho. But so he rolls up. He's driven to Ray Winston's house by a very uncomfortable Jackie and H.
Yeah, he's sitting in the front as well.
Yeah, H
yeah,
is
I
in
noticed
the back.
that too. Yeah,
the whole sort of like soundtrack is building, and you see the car stop. He gets out, and the first thing he says is,
"Gotta change my shirt. It's sticking to me. I'm sweating like a cunt."
Baffling. What?
So good.
yeah. The way this guy speaks and the way he moves are so opposed that it's such a fucking... I mean, we'll get into his performance a bit more later on, but like, yeah, incredible. Like, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
There's some overlap, but I have a theory about that. But like it just immediately the use of the word cunt, right, is absolutely central in this movie, right? Because it is less so in British English than in American English, but it is like one of the like most inappropriate individual words you can deploy, and particularly one that is like laden with misogyny and with sexual menace, right? And all of Don Logan's speech is peppered with it, right? As we see from the first line, and the first line is like using it to invite a kind of like negative expression of himself, to be sweating like a cunt, to be made to look like a cunt. He is always thinking of himself kind of in those terms, right? One of the things that I think is interesting, and I really want to foreground about this movie, is that like if Spain is this life of sort of like comfort and ease, then Britain isn't just, you know, misery, it isn't just greyness, it's also every British person that you encounter is this male neurotic psychosexual misogynist, right, who has some serious shit to work out, and Don Logan is going to work out that shit all over the hacienda. We smash cut forwards,
and they're all sitting around. They're terrified of him.
He's like sat there like a tensed muscle. He's ready to go. One of them just asked him how his brother is, and he goes, "What, Malky? Yeah, he's all right. He's Malky, isn't he? I don't know. You'd have to ask him." And it's just like, oh god, there's nothing we can say. It's over. Yeah,
he shuts down everything. He's got the relaxation vein, and if you don't know what I mean by the relaxation vein, I couldn't identify it medically, but like in the sort of like side of the forehead, there's one particularly kind of like twisty vein that is like very, very tense if you have like high blood pressure. And I don't know how, as an actor, you get your individual veins to do that, but Ben Kingsley's is popping the whole time.
He can do it, yeah.
You can, you basically just do a lot of press-ups before the take, I think. But he's also, he turns his head and looks at people straight on whenever he talks to them, and then turns away again when he's done. He moves like a fucking robot. It's an incredible performance. And then he sends the others away.
H offers to like take the two women out to eat, and he toys with him at first and was like, "Where the fuck do you think you're going?" Then, in what could be for like a different actor something charitable, kind of like godfathery, offers to pay for their meal. But in this case means like kind of thrusting this wad of banknotes at H, and then really insisting, really like dominating him with that money, of being like, "I'm paying for your meal." He says that to him, like just to really reinforce the like dominance. It's a humiliation ritual. It's brutal.
Yeah, it is. This performance is incredible because like on the page, this character, the dialogue doesn't suggest this. This is just Ben Kingsley making a really strong choice and swinging for the fucking fences to just play this guy as like maybe neurodivergent or possibly like a sociopath. I don't even know. At first I thought it was like, is this guy meant to have like crime autism? But then it's just like he's got like evil autism. I don't know. Like he's just he's so unsettling.
It's a better direction and a better acting than it is a screenplay, I will say. But so he gets Gal alone, and he already knows that, you know, Gal's been sort of made the offer, right? But the first thing he asks him, is, are you happy here? With this kind of air of disgust to it. And Gal, of course, has to say yes, that he is. And you get this conversation between them where Gal knows that he has to say no, but he won't sort of like, he doesn't get the conversational opportunity to even say it. And there's a particular piece of like almost gaslighting, right? Where so bear in mind, Don swears a lot. The first line we have heard him use the word cunt, right? And they have this little exchange.
I'd be useless.
Useless.
I would be.
In what way?
In every fucking way.
Are you swearing? I'm not swearing.
Just leaning forward for that. And just the like
drops the voice.
The intensity of that. It's like, don't laugh at me for this.
No, go on.
I like a Don like this. Like this is
makes sense.
It just there's the kind of unpredictability and the kind of there is another comparison about this, which is also going to get into English person getting a bit psychosexual with it to reveal where this comes from later on. But like it is in this context absolutely sort of abusive, right?
Well, there you go, listeners. You can update you on November Kelly's sexual chart. Well,
I don't think it's a surprise for anyone that my sexuality is defined as being kind of like the object of what's the fucking like tactical triangle: speed, surprise, and violence of action. You know, but he tells Gal this story, right, which is the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels kind of flashback montage. It's delivered with the same kind of panache of going through this guy Stan, who's a fixer. We see Don get the call. It's interesting that when we see Don get the call about the job, he is in his wife fronts in his shitty London flat, watching telly, and just it seems as if his entire life is empty and waiting for this specifically to happen. So this guy Stan, this gangster, he gets him into like an entirely red lit bar and pitches him on the job. My favorite detail here is that he says it's very important that the guys that you get for this have positive attitude. And it's like, that's one of the things that's the 2000s in this is lines from a recruiting manager coming out of the mouth of a gangster.
They'll make sure that all of your like get a team together, but make sure that they've all got positive mental attitude. It's so good.
So we're putting together this 8-man team of top lads on behalf of a crime lord called Teddy Bess. It's Ian McShane.
Yeah.
Lovely to see him.
It's Mr. Wednesday.
Who is implied immediately from moment one to be terrifying, right?
Yes. Mr.
Gal
Black Magic
who he
himself.
Yes.
The opening line from Don Logan's really good. He's like, I know a guy who know a guy who knows a guy. You know this guy. He's a guy who's known to you. This is a bloke
you know, yeah. It's so good. But so Teddy has been in Stan's telling, because this is all going through those sort of layers, at an orgy. And the way Stan describes it is like very, very funny. This is one of the funniest lines in the movie to me. It's like they was doing everything. Wanking, spanking, cocaine, camcorders. It was like ancient Rome, which is a really, really good kind of like
also irrelevant to the heist setup. He's just doing this for flavor, I think. Also, we see the orgy, and it seems to mainly be about like 24 people sitting down in a very fancy house,
the orgy also looks like
watching a sex act that we can't see, and are therefore forced to imagine what the fuck the fuck they were watching. We hear 2 or maybe more people doing something. We hear some plapping going on, but don't really know what the fuck.
It's so pathetic, right? It's so
it's
tame,
lame, right? Yeah, it's no eyes wide shut. It's like pathetic.
what we get from this is that Teddy is fucking lying, right? Like, Teddy has been to this orgy, is obliged to describe it, and it's like, oh yeah, it was like ancient Rome. And instead what it is like 24 posh people sitting around naked on like sort of damask sofas. And he's at this orgy, he's like somewhat exhausted, and Edward Fox is there staring at him, just eye-fucking him in the sense of wanting to have sex with him. And when he tries to, he kind of like obliquely threatens him. He's like, what are you staring at? And Edward Fox is not scared of him, which is, you get the sense, sort of a novel experience for Teddy.
Yeah. Also, Teddy says to him, men or women? And he goes, oh, definitely.
To become this level of posh pervert is, oh, yeah.
I should note, this is actually not Edward Fox. This is his brother, James Fox, who is also an actor that looks exactly the fuck like him. Yeah, I had to look it up just now because I was like, I'm not 100%.
I'm so sorry.
No relation to Lawrence Fox, I hope.
I don't
believe so.
think so.
Robin Fox.
So, yeah. So Teddy is introduced to this guy, Harry.
Yeah.
Harry is the chairman of a private bank. So exclusive that they don't advertise, sort of thing. Keep a lot of safety deposit vaults, things of this nature. And you see the wheels turning, but after this, oh, definitely line, the next few shots are Teddy on his knees in a shower, sort of like visibly kind of traumatized and conflicted, right?
Yeah, what was this?
He got fucked. He got fucked by this bank guy.
He got fucked in the ass by James Fox. Yeah, I mean, if you're establishing a kind of class relation here, your sort of like scary gangster has been established, like first time we've seen him, more or less, being fucked up the ass by the establishment and getting a real complex about it. There's an ambiguity to the way Ian McShane plays this. I think there are two readings of it. I think one is the reading where he does this purely for the sake of the job, and the other is he does this and enjoys it, and the job is in part to cover for the fact that he can't admit that to himself.
That must make sense.
That second one is more interesting to me,
given where the crime is launched from. I
yes,
think we'll get to that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
So he goes to visit Harry at his bank. He rents a safety deposit box. He puts like an empty like fag packet in there, a packet of cigarettes. And we get a sort of like an explanation of this from Stan, which is this.
Now this chairman's not as big a prick as he looks. He knows who Teddy Bass is, what he is, what he's up to. Does he care? Does he fuck? So if we think about this as kind of matched pairs, right? Teddy and Harry and Gal and Don, right? What we have on sort of each side of that equation is comfort and ease and like a little bit of arrogance about those, and this kind of yawning jealousy, right? And sort of like yearning and sublimation and being sort of unable to even think about what you want to openly. And I think that's like central to the movie. And so he walks out of the bank having sort of like set up for this heist, and the expression on Ian McShane's face as he does this is like, it's like very, very ambiguous.
But he's been casing the joint, and the chairman knows it, but he's flexing on him because he thinks that the bank is impregnable. There's no way anyone could steal anything from it. Yeah,
it's the sort of like old money establishment thing of, not only am I that much more confident about sort of my money not going anywhere, I'm that much more confident about my sexuality, I'm that much more confident about sex even. Like this really kind of posits a working class neurosis, if you like. But so back in Spain, Don explains all of this to Gal, and he's like, you're going to go with like 8 other guys and you're going to go and break into this bank. It'll be easy. Here are the logistics. Like, there's a kind of funny line in passing where he gives him his cover name and he says, your name's Roundtree, like Smarties, like Shaft.
That's so good. He yells it at him because he's still trying to say, but he doesn't want to do the job.
But he's trying to do it with like a kind of like face-saving way of like, I'm not fit to do it, I'd be no use to you kind of way. which Don is not going to accept because he's like, oh, you look all right to me, you know? And he starts getting angry. He starts swearing. And this is where, again, we get into like real kind of like really familiar, like, again, like in a sort of non-consensual setting, an abuse dynamic where he's like, in the sort of flow of this swearing, Gal is like, you know, don't do this. It's sort of like imploring him. And he switches tack immediately to like, what is this? What's this? What am I doing?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
There's an amazing moment where the pool boy comes back and Ben Kingsley's like, there's a boy looking at us. And Ray Winston goes to say to him like, oh, you know, go away. You don't want to be near here. Off you go. I don't need you today. And Ben Kingsley turns his face away from the kid so that he cannot later be described, which is a really nice touch. And when the kid is gone, he turns his face back again. It's such a nice moment. It's like, oh shit, like this guy is accustomed to being up to something.
There's also a real kind of sexual dimension to this, frankly, right? In the kid is always like he's like a teenage boy. He's always walking around like pool shorts and stuff. We've never seen Gal be anything other than like fatherly or like avuncular to him. But there's an expression on Don's face that suggests that he has assumed something of their relationship which is unwholesome, right? And that's something that reflects on Don rather than on Gal, that like it just kind of like, we know from having seen it that their actual relationship is like fine, it's nice, but it poisons it with this kind of suspicion.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's kind of what Don is there to do, I guess, is to like infect all of this like previously quite nice, relaxed comfort with insecurity, you know?
So they go to a bar.
Oh, by the way, before they do, he tells them what he's getting paid, which is like 2% or whatever. But that's not really what it's about, right? Because for you, Gal, like me, the action is the juice.
The action is the juice, right?
As he says it, the sheer fuck offness of it all, which I think is a beautiful way of putting it. But clearly for Gal, no, not anymore, at least.
The wife is the juice, brother.
The wife is the juice.
The wife is the fucking juice. There's a really good Ben Kingsley line where Don's like, where Gal's like, I'm going to have to turn the opportunity down. And Don's like, you're going to have to turn this opportunity, yes. It's so, like, his dead-eyed stare.
It's so good.
There's a lot of like long swearing sections that I could have cut that would have been good drops, but I specifically didn't, both because I think it weakens the movie to have it reduced to a kind of like best of Don Logan YouTube compilation.
Yes, and those exist. You can watch those if you want to.
Well, yeah. But also watch the film. I so genuinely good. There are bits.
Yeah.
There are uses of language in some of these that I do not want to spoil because they are so shockingly.
They will hit harder if they come as a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. But so he goes. He makes Gal take him to a bar, and
it's 83 minutes on Amazon.
He is so visibly uncomfortable there. He's so rigid again.
Yeah, it's so good.
In this kind of weird loneliness, just overshares, and he says, "I fucked Jackie, H's wife."
3 years ago.
And it is clear that he is still thinking about this obsessively.
Yeah. And he says like H doesn't know about this. You know, what's he doing with her dirty old cow? And then Ray Winston's like, well, you know, they love each other. You know,
he loves her, Don. Like,
yeah.
And you get the sense that Don has never loved anyone. He keeps sharing more details and like worse and more kind of tawdry details until this eventually culminates in being like, you know, she tried to put a finger up my ass. You know, what kind of woman would do that? I quite liked her. And it's like the need, the jealousy, the insecurity, the kind of like fucking Madonna whore complex of it all, right? The sort of compulsive need to devalue a woman who has turned you down. It just is like it's remarkable. It's remarkable.
Yeah, he's like this tense ball of masculine insecurity. We also see how much of that is bound up in fat phobia too, because he keeps badgering Ray Winston about this. This is some early 2000s shit right here.
It is.
And Ray Winston's like, look, I'm retired, I can't do the job. He's like, fuck off, you. Like, he calls him like a fat cunt and just like keeps berating him for his weight again and again and again.
There's a specific bit, this next scene. So like he makes Gal drive him to the sea, out to the beach. It's middle of the night. And he again does some gaslighting because he opens with a talk to me, Gal. I'm here for you. I'm a good listener, right? Which is really funny, and then shifts instantly back into the mode. And this is where I can talk about what I think the mode is. Right? He stands like an NCO, right? Like a sergeant. Or a corporal. And particularly there is this one where he is legitimately standing at parade rest for a second with his hands like folded behind his back, and he moves pretty seamlessly from that to punching Gal really hard in the solar plexus and then straight back. And it's like, I know that. I have seen that. Yeah, right?
I've had that done to me. I've met that fucker.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the psychosexual bit of being like, why does November like a woman who does things like that? It's like, well, maybe there are some sort of formative experiences there that I'm plumbing. I don't know.
Whereas I do not like a woman who does that.
But yeah, he just sort of berates him.
What? Yes. I will.
I think it's fine. I don't want that. I don't want to get hurt.
He berates him for his weight, his perceived kind of laziness, and he takes all of this as an insult to him, to his ego, right? Like the sort of rhetorical question he keeps returning to is, do you think I'm going to have that, right? Like, do you think I'm going to tolerate you being like the person that you are, right? Which again, very familiar, but like this is like this man has come here to destroy your entire way of life, you know, because it is a personal insult he is taking it as. Like,
yeah. There's also and again, this moment of like taking things personally. There's a moment where they're driving back to the house because he's also like, by the way, I'm staying the night. They drive back to the house and Ray Winston has to stop because there's a goat in the road, and then Don Logan goes, "What's that?" And Ray Winston's like, "It's a goat. They're annoying." And he goes, "What's it looking at me for?" What the fuck kind of question is that?
It's genuinely there's a shot. The shot that leads into that, the drive back, where it's just in dead silence, but he is fucking him in the second sense of like thinking about committing horrible violence to him. Is so funny. I want that to be the episode art.
Such a good shot. Like Gal is just driving, he's having a look forwards, whereas Don is sat in the passenger seat, just like fully head 90 degrees straight at Gal, just staring at him.
Also, Ray Wiz is like slumped down in the seat as if he's just exhausted by this bastard.
So yeah, and speaking of being exhausted by this bastard, so he comes back, right, and the others are obligated to continue socializing with him, and we see that all he does is like this kind of like sexual violent taunts, and it's interesting that Dee Dee is the only one who isn't scared of him.
Yes, that's true.
She stands up to him. Not that it makes any impact on him whatsoever, seemingly, but we see that they all filter into the kitchen one by one as he's just more and more intolerable to be around.
Jackie doesn't even let him say it. He leans forward to say something to Jackie and she just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
So good.
What a beautiful piece of like a sort of showing and not telling of like how many things he must have said to her in their time, like that she just doesn't even need to, like, it's great.
Yeah.
But that leaves him outside on his own, just sort of fuming. And like, again, you get this sense of like bottomless, like loneliness, right? And like yearning for human connection that you can only try and achieve through sort of like debasing others.
It's such a good performance because he's also pathetic. I mean, when we say that he's fuming, he's not sitting there like fucking Kratos, like sort of physically dominant. He's not sort of physically dominant over Ray Winston, who's taller and broader than him. But you just get this sense of this guy is just a fucking black hole, and he is going to take everyone down with him.
Yeah. So that night, a little Kill James Bond tip here. When you're a guest in someone's home and you want to establish kind of dominance and psychological terror over them, what you're going to want to do is to piss as loudly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Get a bunch of it on their floor on purpose, which is what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does this little kind of self-examination. We see him do a couple of these, just in the mirror, talking to himself.
Yeah.
Just stares at himself in the mirror.
He berates himself in the mirror. Specifically, he tells himself off for oversharing about Jackie.
Yeah, he's like, I shouldn't have said that in the car, in the bar about Jackie. I shouldn't have said that.
It's like, yeah, probably not, but like...
He's also kind of stimming, where he's like, big mouth, Dom, big mouth, dob, big mouth. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Yeah.
He opens up the fucking like door to like look out into the bedroom at Gal and Dee Dee in bed. And this shot of him like peeking through the door is so like up angled, light on him, fantastic.
So the next morning...
No.
This is the one where he like breaks in.
He's shaving in the mirror and he's talking to himself about Gal's disrespect. And
he's like, I wouldn't take that.
He's so calm. He's like, yeah, I can't have that. I wouldn't take that. Drops the razor, immediately storms into the bedroom and attacks him.
Yes, that's get up, you can't. Just like
get up, you can't, and like beats his face in.
Again,
and Dee Dee is the one who like is angrily tells him to get out, and he goes. And next morning, Ray Winston's got a big fucking bruise on his face because he's just been battered by this guy.
Yeah, and he is of course up for more abuse from Don, who again gets weirder with it, gets more sexual with it.
Opening line from Don in the morning is just like, I love you, Gal. You know that, right?
Yes!
Like, all right, man.
Lovable oath, right? Like, and he tries to get to him through Dee Dee by kind of like abusing her, not in her presence. We see that she's still in bed hearing all of this, but he's like, you used to have a great body, great physique, and you ended up with her. And we find out from Don that Dee Dee used to act in porn. That and he really tries to like hold this over Gal to be like, did you know that? And he's like, yeah, I did. It's just like, what a stain on your life. The line here that sticks with me is,
Dirty Dee Dee, he calls her.
All the Persil in the world couldn't shift it. Like a Persil's like a laundry powder. It's like, it's brutal.
But like Gal is like defending her though. He's not doing it loudly. He's not like arguing with a raised voice, but he's like under his breath. He's going like, I love her. You know?
Yeah.
We see he's so beaten down by this too. Like he's exhausted by this cunt.
And this culminates. This moves to the kitchen, right? And we have this perfect exchange where like it all just sort of comes to the surface because he tries saying, you know, maybe this isn't even about me. Maybe you're not like here for me in the first place. Maybe you're here for Jackie, right? And it circles back to this.
I've had enough of this crime and punishment bollocks. I'm happy here.
I won't let you be happy. What should I?
It's just that again, it's like I won't let you be. There is I this is such wank, but there's a poem that I want to read at the end of the thing that I think is
nice.
well shit. I'll do it now if you like. The poem is it's by Charles Bukowski, and it's one of my favorites actually. Which is I know, but trust me on this one.
Okay, emotional swings here.
It's called Relentless as the Tarantula. And it goes like this. They're not going to let you sit at a front table at some cafe in Europe in the mid-afternoon sun. If you do, somebody's going to drive by and spray your guts with a submachine gun. They're not going to let you feel good for very long anywhere. The forces aren't going to let you sit around fucking off and relaxing. You've got to do it their way. The unhappy, the bitter, and the vengeful need their fix, which is you or somebody, anybody, in agony, or better yet dead, dropped into some hole. As long as there are human beings about, there is never going to be any peace for any individual upon this earth, or anywhere else they might escape to. All you can do is maybe grab 10 lucky minutes here, or maybe an hour there. Something is working toward you right now, and I mean you. and nobody but you. And that's Don Logan.
That's Don Logan. He's deployed towards.
Yeah, you've successfully redeemed Bukowski for me slightly. I had a prejudice against him because an old ex of mine was very into Bukowski.
There are good reasons to be prejudiced against him.
Yeah, because she same person actually, and I think because she imagined herself as the tarantula, I think.
Wonderful.
But anyway.
But yeah, he's this sort of like he's nemesis in the kind of Greek sense, right? Like he's but
he
so
is, yeah.
There's another great like NCO kicking the shit out of you bit here where he says like, I've had enough of these insinuendos, right? Like he gets so angry he mixes up like insinuation and innuendo, right? And it's like, this is a very believable kind of like, I have got this wrong and it's funny, but in the moment you are not allowed to laugh at me because I will kill you kind of moment.
Yes, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
But he just like announces that he wants to leave. He gets a cab, he leaves.
He beats up the kitchen first. He kicks the kitchen in.
Kicks everything around, yeah.
We see when he gets to the airport, he's still seething about this because he's standing.
So angry he won't sit
not
down.
sitting, standing at the airport gate, and then we get a dolly zoom where we are like zooming and dollying in opposite directions. It's like the world kind of warps around Don Logan because he's so angry. He's like bending reality around himself.
It's genuinely like it's horrible, but it is exhilarating to watch as well. Like it gets the adrenaline going. So he gets on the plane. And
cuts to him like an air hostess walking down the aisle, and there is just like the back of a bald head amongst all the seats, and you can see the cigarette smoke. It's just like you have to put out the cigarette.
And he says the name of my podcast.
No.
He's like,
well, that's your problem, isn't it?
So
pretty good.
She gets two stewards. At which point I note the homophobia because he says, here come the gay brigade.
Yes.
As he's being sort of like led off the plane, he says, he turns around just offhandedly says, I hope this crashes. And I think that's the kind of the truest Don Logan as a character is just the kind of like impulsive spite,
Yeah.
Like, and just sort of omnidirectional. But so we see he has been held at the airport for like 5 hours. He hasn't sat down the whole time. Still standing, still angry.
So good.
And in a sort of like, the worst person learned therapy words situation.
Oh God,
this is so good. Yeah,
getting forward.
The guy comes in here to be like, you got kicked off the plane. I'm gonna have an interview with you.
Top of this scene, I was thinking, right, finally, this character's gonna get some fucking comeuppance, and no. Because this guy from the airport comes in and he's like...
He is an abuser.
He is. This guy from the airport comes in and he's like, Mr. Logan, this is very, very serious. He's like, yes, it is very serious. I want to talk to you about something. Have you ever been sexually assaulted? Me neither, until today. And he tells us, he spins this fucking yarn about how the steward sexually assaulted him and how his steward mate was kind of in on this and eyeing him up. And he said, so I was so shocked, I was so emotional, I lit a cigarette to calm my nerves. It's like, what the fuck?
He's like, everything you're about to talk to me about happened after that. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. But I'd have a word with him if I were you.
Funny, and it's so cynical and so homophobic, and it's such a like immediately able to kind of like identify yourself as the victim at a moment's notice, and just lie your way through it.
I believe that he believes this too.
Yeah, he's been spending about 5 hours making himself believe it.
Yeah, I fully believe that if you asked him to describe a factual, like, truth to God of what happened on that plane, he would fully believe this completely made up bullshit. There's another really interesting aspect of it is that as he tells the airport manager this, he leans in very close to him but does not look him in the eye. He looks past him, which is a really interesting choice because when you're that close into the actor's face, eye lines are like, where you choose your eye line is really important. This is such a specific choice that he's like not looking at him. He's like talking to his shoulder. It's so good.
Yeah, and so this threat works, right? Because he's like, I don't want to cause trouble. I don't want to like press charges, contact the British embassy. I just, just have a word with him, let him know he's been rumbled or whatever. And so back at the hacienda, H and Gal are just like giving each other shit in like the most affable way. H suggests, like the way Don saved face is by going back and being like, well, I saw him and he was like a fat piece of shit, so I didn't want him. And like offhandedly, just in the mirror, Gal just goes, "Fuck off, I'm beautiful," with a big smile on his face. It's like genuinely really sweet.
As H says the line, "You're in the clear," they hear the car outside.
It's just like, oh, here he is.
At this point, I thought the whole movie was going to be set around the villa in Spain. I was like, oh god, the whole rest of the movie, there's not even going to be a heist. It's just them dealing with this fucking guy.
I mean, it's a tight 90 and a good 70 of that is in Spain. Yeah,
it's really. I love this movie.
He comes back and just as like a force of like sheer anger. Like this bit, I almost don't want to describe it too much, just in the sense of you have to see it. But like, he sort of like barks everybody into compliance and gets Gal alone against the kind of like French doors which everyone can see through, so like everyone else is behind Gal and he's in front of Gal, and he's like, he paces like a sergeant as well. There's this particular there is a particular spatial relationship to the bollocking, right, where like you are stood there and the other person is moving in front of you from side to side, thinking about things to say to get angrier, and it's like Yep. This is yes, absolutely. The pacing, it's very military, or like quasi-military.
Yeah. He also again tells H off for looking him in the eye. He is like a fucking XL bully. He's like an angry dog.
But he's sort of losing it now because more and more of the Jackie stuff is starting to slip in. More of the misogyny is starting to slip in. He's getting distracted, you know. Like he's sort of like shifting targets for his sort of venom. You know?
He's just putting through everyone. He's just like, Jackie, I don't give a shit what Jackie thinks. Fucking H is gonna die soon anyway, whatever. Like he's just hitting every target in a row. And then we see in the background the pool boy has arrived with his like old ass gun from earlier.
Which, as we saw in the hunting thing, does not work. And we see that for Don, the action really is the juice, because he locks in. Like he is like not afraid of this whatsoever.
He glasses Gal real quick.
Yeah.
Gives him a little
grabs a bottle and he goes, "I'm going to kill you." Picks up a bottle and just smashes Ray Winston in the head. Ray Winston's down, he's bleeding. And then the pool boy comes up behind Ben Kingsley with the rifle, and he's not intimidated at all.
No.
He's just like, "Oh, you're going to shoot me then, are you? Are you going to shoot me?" And just walks up to him very slowly, and then he's obviously not going to shoot him. She goes, "I'll take that." Takes the gun off him, and then just like Ben Kingsley presses R3 and just melees this child. Just
yeah. Boss, you killed a child.
Point.
So but that kind of like unintimidation kind of that kind of works both ways, right? Because that's when we see Dee Dee. We see her like run out of the room when Gal gets glassed, and we see her come back with the shotgun. It's interesting. Dee Dee has a big scar, like a burn scar, like down her arm, that we don't really see except in this shot. And again, it's like,
it's really prominent in this shot.
Well, you're gonna have to watch the prequel series to find out.
I was just thinking. It's like, you know what I don't need? It's like 6-hour-long episodes to figure out exactly how she got that. You know, some younger actress having to do some real like trauma acting. No, thank you.
Smash cut to London. At the Grosvenor Hotel, it's pissing it down. Ray Winston gets out of the cab. So he's whatever it is, he's taking the job.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened, but
there is. We see him get picked up from the hotel. He's sort of like agonizing. He gets driven, and like there is a particularly shit 2000s Londonness.
There is,
that I remember just about, but that is also captured in another movie that I really want to do soon for robbery season,
Spice World. Oh, okay.
Well,
we did Spice World.
Yeah, Croupier in many ways the nighttime Spice World. But so he gets. I can just get a thoughtful out of you two with fucking anything.
I'm trying to work on the lonely Spice World seeks to no. I'm just trying to work on that, so I gave you the in the meanwhile.
We'll watch Croupier.
We'll watch Croupier. Be good.
Yes.
Nighttime Spice World.
It's just my instinct to fill the dead air. You could say anything, and I'd be like, yes, and
interesting.
So he goes to meet the gang, who are all just kind of like lads, there's Stan, the sort of like guy who hired on Don, and then we see Teddy in passing. Teddy, very scary. Ian McShane, flickering fluorescent lights, looks like a fucking vampire. And Teddy's like, "Hey, have you spoken to Don?"
And he goes,
Where is he?
Yeah. It's like, what? He didn't make it back. I heard he called me from Heathrow. He said, "I'm home safe. Kiss, kiss."
And they're like, "Did you take him to the airport?" He's like, "No. He left my house in a taxi, flew back to England and called me from Heathrow to say he'd landed." And they're like, "That's weird. He's missing."
And he's like, "That's crazy. I don't know.
Weird that he called you." And it's like, I thought it was weird myself. I mean, the thing about Gal here is he slightly overplays his hand with the phone call, but he does not put a foot wrong otherwise. Like, it's genuinely impressive the amount he's passing all of these speech checks, right? And we'll sort of know that it doesn't matter in the sense that Teddy is sort of like smiling at him the whole time, and it's like he knows, like he fucking knows what you did. This guy knows. Like even at this point, you don't have to crisp and potato snack shit. He is smiling at you like that. He knows. But so they go to this Chinese restaurant, and you get this beautiful, horrible shot of like it's spinning the camera around a circular table, and all of these gangsters who Gal hates and he's just done with, just braying, laughing. It's all teeth, and they are repulsive in that moment. And it's like that is a triumph of the directorial art, right? To like shoot those people and create that effect of like these people are having a nice time. I'm not. These people are horrible.
My notes say you are POV. You are a closeted autistic trans woman at the lads' dinner.
Oh,
because men are laughing so loudly.
Gal does become quite feminized by retirement.
Yeah.
He gets sort of like softer, and it's interesting that weight is one of the things that he gets sort of like sort of abused by. He's like wearing a silk robe a lot of the time. It's like, again, he loves his wife. These are kind of feminine things, and we get one of those again because, and this is just a beautiful moment. This is up there with like, I don't know, like Phantom Thread or something for me, where or like the Duke of Burgundy, where he sort of he gets on the payphone, this shitty payphone in this shitty restaurant. He's like having to cradle it against all of this kind of like noise, and he calls his wife, who won't talk. Right, she's just listening, and he has this line which I have, where he becomes the kind of patron saint of anyone whose love has ever exceeded their eloquence, because he says,
"I love you like a rose loves rainwater, like a leopard loves its partner in the jungle, like I don't know what like I love you."
It's so
real,
funny, and it's beautiful. It's like this is a kind of dumb guy, right? Like he's not kind of particularly rhetorically gifted, but he loves her. He absolutely loves her.
Yeah. And that's also why we, the audience, like him, because it's
of
like,
course.
Like he's a bit rough around the edges and a bit thick maybe, but like, he's in love. It's important.
Yeah, he has that, and so he says to her, "I know you love me because I feel strong." It's like, it's so romantic. So next day, he's eating full English in a restaurant. Teddy shows up, and it's like he knows. This guy fucking knows.
It's like
Gal has so many moments in this where he looks like he knows he is about to be killed, and this is one of them. And Teddy has this particularly, again, it's like when you know that he knows, it's a really sadistic kind of thing to do, where he's like, what happened with the thing? And of course Gal says, "I told you," and he just kind of smiles and says, "Tell me again."
Yeah, but just before like Teddy rolls up, you get the sort of the rabbit again, right? You get the sort of Donnie Darko spirit of violence enters the scene. You see, like, you don't see him properly. He just like walks into the restaurant, and you see him like pointing a gun at Gal as he sat down, and it's like, then it's like it swaps over to being Teddy, and you're like, this guy is here. He will kill you. He is so willing to kill you.
Yeah.
And again, he doesn't put a foot wrong
here, but he doesn't. He nails it.
He nails all. He's just like, no, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe he didn't call me from Heathrow, but he called me. And as he's sort of like having his story unpicked, he stands by the most defensible elements of it. He stays kind of affable, and
he keeps eating as well.
Yeah, Teddy, who knows is just kind of like grinning at him. But Teddy's like, all right, cool.
Okay.
Good luck on the job tonight. Leaves. And we see him kind of like laughing along. And we see him just hold that and hold that and hold that. And we don't see him break. Like he's just maintaining that cover.
He's so good.
That's a beautiful piece of acting, but also just to keep that shot and not include any of him, like no relief, nothing. The tension just stays. It's fantastic.
Meanwhile,
really
this is
good.
intercut with a brief shot of Dee Dee absolutely blowing Don Logan away with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of it.
Stomach, in the abdomen, yeah.
Just to make sure that you're aware of what's happened.
Yeah.
So now we go to crime. And
It's
the
crime
plan
time,
is
baby.
specifically
Yes, okay, heist, here we go.
Minute 80 of 90-minute movie.
there is a bathhouse down the road from the bank. They're going to drill in through the pool of the bathhouse, flood the vault, and then go in with scuba gear. And I don't think it is a coincidence that this is a bathhouse and all the guys doing the crime are in tiny trunks.
I also wrote down gay Speedo heist.
Everything's gay.
I don't know why it's gay, but it is definitely gay on purpose.
The reason why it's gay is because Teddy is insecure about this stuff, whereas Harry, the banker, is not, right? And I think the movie suggests that the motive force of not just crime, but also the whole nouveau riche, the whole kind of like generational, like sort of robber baron sort of transfer of wealth that happened in the 2000s that ultimately precipitated and was ended by austerity, the kind of like sequel to the 80s, was a kind of sexual jealousy of like assurance and of confidence. In that way, it's a conservative film, right? It suggests that there's a kind of like a class insecurity that is experienced directly as this is like getting fucked up the arse and feeling ashamed of it, right? Like, and it's I really want to contrast this with The Long Good Friday, which is not a heist film. It's not even a robbery film, but it is a crime film about how the Docklands and like the East End of London more broadly got that way, which is essentially that being Don Logan stopped being enough, right? Like being that kind of like ball of kind of repressed anger stopped being enough to control those things, and you had to sort of develop that kind of sleaze, that kind of assurance. But Teddy doesn't. Teddy doesn't have to. He just it gets to kind of. You can view this as kind of like trying to fuck the establishment back.
Well, that explanation has just reminded me of a really good book that I read. It's by two Polish scholars called Agnieszka Graf and Elżbieta Korolczuk. And it's called Anti-Gender Politics in the Populist Moment. And it's about how people take critiques of capitalism and then they kind of moralize them into sexual and anti-queer critiques. And it seems to me that that is what Teddy is doing. Like Teddy has an insecurity about the fact that like there's the guy who's posher and richer than him, Harry, and he is processing that as like, gay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that seems to be like what the film is saying about like the relationship between the sexual and the kind of economic here. You just saying that has reminded me of that book, Nova.
Yeah, absolutely. So they do the gay Speedo heist, which involves kind of like drilling in through the wall. And as Gal is kind of maneuvering through this sort of like murky pool, you get intercut with this Don's death sequence, which is horrible. I like that it's horrible. It's like Lorca, right?
Just
like
doesn't fucking die.
He doesn't stop. He's just yelling the whole time.
He kind of has this like excruciating drawn out death where he's like in horrible pain, screaming and kind of like cursing the world and choking, and like he like sort of he says sort of leeringly to Jackie at one point that he loves her, and she like obviously despises him and like kicks him in the head. He tries to like
it's pretty good. Both Gal and Dee Dee are already beating this guy to death, and he looks over to see Jackie and goes, "I love you," and she starts joining in, beating him to death.
His last kind of card is to try and hold this over H, to be like, I fucked her.
Yeah, and he won't die because Dee Dee also shoots him point blank with a shotgun and he's still not dead.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's H who gets to kill him because he and again we're sort of talking about sexual revenge here. He tries to sort of hold this over H by being like, I fucked her, and H sort of takes this in stride and says, well, now I've fucked you, and then kills him by like hitting him over the head with a CRT TV.
Yeah, kills him with television.
Bosh.
So as they drill into the vault, obviously the electricity is going to like short out in the water, and so there's a really like they don't explain any of this, which I like, but there's a real scramble to like pull Gal, who was the one who was broken through, out of the water with a rope before he gets electrocuted, and this huge kind of like spark shoots across the pool, and Teddy has this like audibly indifferent "everyone all right," which I really like. So they break in the vault. You know how the bank job tried to do some class stuff too about like the establishment and whatever? This manages to do everything that movie was trying to do and a bit more in, I think, 3 distinct shots, right? Because they're breaking open the stuff, and there's little like there's pearls floating everywhere in the water. There's like cash, but we get 2 little intercut shots of photos. One is some bondage porn, which is like presumably like blackmail material or something like that. And the other is a white guy in a pith helmet standing in front of 2 I think Polynesian sort of statue figures, and it's like these are specifically like establishment treasures, and these are colonial treasures. This is a sort of like it's like an edifice that's built on colonialism and misogyny, right, and on like sexual dominance. It's specifically the choice to use. It's like a woman in lingerie with a ball gag, right, and it's like to objectify and to demean and to control women is sort of like presented as being like an inseparable part of that. And so Teddy's sort of like feeling aggrieved by this is partly feeling treated like a woman, feeling feminized.
Which also contrasts with Gal's very loving relationship with his wife.
Yes. It's like you've separated me from my kind of like misogyny that makes me feel manly, and transposed me into the position of a woman in your misogyny that sort of makes you feel manly. And the only solution is robbery. So the heist goes off, and we have to go back to the horrible restaurant with the horrible men. Gal looks incredibly done with them.
Do you remember when we started heist season, we formed a hypothesis that heisting is for the boys. Heisting is a male activity with the boys.
Yes.
It seems that this movie is saying that like heisting is an activity for the straight boys only, and heisting is also how we confirm our straightness.
Heisting is an activity for the boys. Spending time with your wife is an activity for the men.
That's fucking right. Yes.
Because, but genuinely, this movie is not about 9/11. This movie is about being transgender.
And also we can find out what all those photos were about by watching the prequel series.
3 deadliest words in the English language. Prequel television series. Like, you bastard.
Well, hang on a minute. I think you're forgetting about Star Wars The Acolyte, which was... And I think you're also forgetting about House of the Dragon, which was a very good prequel television series.
So they're okay. I think they've got some good actors in them, but
Gal is obviously itching to leave. He's got his suitcase at the restaurant. He's like, and there's a great little interaction where he like Teddy comes to see him, and Gal sits down in the booth with his suitcase on the other seat, and Teddy just doesn't say anything. He just waits. He just stands there and waits for Gal to move the suitcase so he can sit down and box him in the booth. And so he asks him, sort
of, what's your suitcase for? You heading out? You getting out of it, pal? He's like,
you don't seem happy. You don't seem that happy about this heist. Oh, by the way, in the sort of vault, Gal pocketed a pair of earrings. We see him do this anyway. But so it's like, you don't seem happy.
We know that he's not going to sell them for money. He's going to give this as a present to his wife. We know that.
Wife.
Yeah, but so he says, "No, I'm just leaving because I've got a plane to catch." And in the most "you are getting killed" delivery, Teddy's like, "I'll give you a lift."
Yeah, I'll give you a lift. Come get the car with me. I'll take you to the airport.
The car is a silver Porsche 911. So it is about 9/11 in that sense.
Yeah.
Which again, we're establishing new money right? Like this is sort of like the new rich who are sort of like going to be the masters of our society in the 2000s. And yeah, we just need to make a little stop off on the way. Gal is undergoing like third death sentence of the movie at this point, just like yep, unmarked grave, sure, gotcha.
The choice of a Porsche 911 is really interesting because I remember when I was a kid, which was like a little bit after this movie came out, I remember popular media presenting a Porsche as the car of choice for like gay men. There's like gay men and like wealthy hairdressers. It was like in the same way that the Walther PPK is a gay gun for women. I remember when I was a kid, a Porsche was a gay car for women.
The sort of Porsche Boxster years.
Yeah, I wonder if that is deliberate or if that's just a coincidence.
I think it's sort of the immediate sort of micro generation before that, where the Porsche is like you have made it, but you have too much money but not enough taste kind of thing. It's like the kind of I used to remember jokes about estate agents say getting their Porsches wrapped around trees, right? Because you have a lot of money so you can afford one, but you don't really know how to drive, and it's like little classist things like that. To me, it's sort of like it's a bit like the yellow Land Rover in Layer Cake, which we will also talk about. Yeah, sort of like Aravist masculinity. Anyway, we've got to make a stop off on the way. So they arrive at this sort of like very posh house in SW1, and Ian McShane's expression as he looks at this house, the fact that he knows where this house is, I think militates in favor of my reading of it, that like the gay sex that was happening is something that Ian McShane was like into and doesn't know how to process, right? Because this is Harry's house, the banker. Now he sort of tricks, bullies Harry into letting them inside, and again, there's that familiarity there, which bespeaks a kind of relationship. Kills Harry in front of Gal.
Yeah,
completely
There's
casually.
2 reasons to do that.
He makes Harry make Gal a drink, and then when Harry turns around, he hands the drink to Ian McShane. Ian McShane just goes, "I'm all right, thanks," and then just shoots him in the head, just casual as you like.
So you're cleaning up loose ends in the sense of like links to the heist. You're also sort of like, much like being hysterical in the shower earlier, sort of like cleaning off the residue of gay sex. But it's also a sort of object lesson and threat to Gal that he is, capable of violence, but also it's like you brought another man to watch you kill the guy who fucked you to reestablish your kind of bona fides to yourself as straight.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because if you just killed him on your own,
no one would have known.
Yeah.
But it's like affirming your masculinity through queerphobic violence.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is like
the 2000s.
This is, and also the nows.
What?
Because it's this is why people murder trans women often. Because it's just like, you made me feel attracted to you, and therefore I have to like destroy you, because if I were attracted to you, that would somehow, like, in quotes, make me gay. Like, that is, there it is on screen.
Yeah, and also, if you think about it this way, right? Like, we heard from Stan that Harry knows that that Teddy's going to try and rob him, right? And is engaging in a kind of like, it's a duel with a kind of gentleman cat burglar kind of thing. Harry doesn't even know he's been robbed when he gets killed, and now he never will, right? It's almost as if the robbery is more of a pretext for the murder than the murder is sort of like cleaning up after the robbery.
Yeah, because it would seem as if like the murder doesn't actually help with the robbery. In fact, if anything, it would seem to create more heat.
But Gal is, of course, incredibly traumatized, is effectively threatened by this.
Yeah, he shoots this guy, immediately turns around to Gal and goes, "What happened to Don?" It's like, I don't know.
He got on the plane, and he got on the plane. He's like, "No, he didn't. I checked. He's still in Spain."
And he finally breaks, not in the sense of admitting anything, but he just says to him very weakly, "I'm not in this anymore," right? And that's the like, he stands up for himself in that moment, right? Like, and just kind of implicitly admits to it. And Ian McShane's like, "All right, cool, get back in the car." So he asks him in the car, driving to, presumably Heathrow or whatever, just sort of by way of conversation, how is Spain? Which is something that we heard Gal in his inner monologue sort of ask himself and be like, "Yeah, it's hot, but I love it." But he turns this into a threat immediately and just says, "I must drop in sometime pay my respects, right? Stops the car and is like, how much are you getting paid for this? And Asgal's like, well, he didn't really tell me. He's like, well, I'm going to give you a tenner.
It's so good, but I've only got 20s. Do you have like any change?
Makes him give him change.
So good.
Again, sort of economic dominance with like fistfuls of like pound notes. But again, I get the sense that there's something like the sort of your criminal food chain, right? The kind of the rabbit that, you know, Gal imagines this all as is like there's always a bigger psycho, but it's also like you've gone up a couple of ranks, and it's like this is your kind of difference between like non-commissioned and commissioned officer, if you follow me, right? Like this is different kinds of bollocking, right? This is someone who can threaten you so credibly that they don't have to be sort of like personally abusive towards you. They can just enforce consequences on you.
They can even give you money as a form of abuse.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And he catches him with this really icy kind of thing where he doesn't even need to say necessarily anything more than this. And I think this is a stronger line than the one tagged on after it, where he just says, if I cared, Gal, if I fucking cared, right? Like, at all.
He's like, if I gave a single solitary shit about Don.
He doesn't even finish the sentence. He's like, if I cared about Don, ...
Yeah.
Get out of the fucking car. It's like so good. There's a brief bit where like some light lights up Ian McShane's face just over the eyes. Wonderful. And then he's just like, get out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
Yeah. And he leaves
Fantastic.
him at a bus stop in the middle of the night. It's like freezing cold.
Yeah. And I'm just like, is there an assassin? Is he going to be killed? Like, what's going to happen? And he's like, it's very tense still, but nothing does. He takes the earrings out.
He doesn't care about this fucking Don. Just being like, you know what? I don't like Don. I've had to deal with him for quite some time, and he's a real pain in the ass, so whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah. And yeah, we see he has the earrings, and then he goes back to Spain, and he's living the good life because Don is, of course, buried under the pool, under the love hearts.
Everyone's around the pool. H is bullshitting them again about finasteride. Ray Winston's finally in the pool, which is nice.
Do we expect this to last now that we know that at any time Teddy can just show up, you know? Like,
I think the movie answers that question for us, because Ray Winston's in the pool, he's smiling, Dee Dee's wearing the earrings, and then he hears Dom's voice say in his head, I told you you'd take the job. And then Ray Winston answers him in his head, and he goes, well, you were technically right, but you're dead, so shut up. And the camera goes down through the tiles of the pool, through a little tunnel. We enter this sort of underwater cave where the rabbit Sasquatch is kicking open a coffin, and Ben Kingsley is in the coffin alive and smoking.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the movie.
Don is in crime hell, right?
He's been sent to hell where the rabbit is, where real violence exists.
But also it's like the Don is still kind of alive. The threat is still there. The rabbit is still there. I don't think this will last. I think
buried
this is
under your house.
Yeah. Like 2008 financial crash will be happening in 7 years. Your house is not on a stable foundation. Movie predicts 2008. Movie predicts subprime mortgage crisis.
Your peace, your security. There's like a boulder down the hill crashing into it. Like,
it's like Jonathan Glazer and like 2 economists predicted the 2008 financial crash. Glazer predicted it based on the vibes rather than the debt. But like, yeah, it's so fucking good. It's like, the 2000s, you think you're secure? No. Ian McShane will fuck you up.
There's a little bit, so in terms of cultural critics, right? Like, I really don't like the novelist Martin Amis, right? But Jonathan Glazer does, or at least he liked him enough to adapt The Zone of Interest, which is an Amis novel, right?
I didn't know that.
This book, this movie rather, reminds me of the kind of 80s and 90s London Martin Amis novels like Money, right? And I think it kind of attempts to grapple with the interiority of like what it means to be a capitalist, what it means to be a criminal, the sort of like Londonness of that, the shitness of that, and then the kind of like sort of one possible refuge from it. I do note in passing that Martin Amis, when interviewed about his subsequent novel to this, Lionel Asbo, which fucking sucks, he describes his protagonist as a sexy beast. So these are in, dialogue. I like I say, I think it surpasses Amos, but it is coming from a similar place in that it is a sort of like satirical, sardonic view of like British masculinity, British society, that is deeply conservative, and it's better than Amos at that because it doesn't carry with it the kind of misogyny that he does. So that's my kind of piece about this movie. It's one of the reasons why I like Jonathan Glazer.
Yeah, this movie ruled. I loved it. Thank you so much for showing it to me, Neva.
Of course, yeah. It's like, you know that question that does the rounds? It's like, what's your favorite piece of conservative art? This is genuinely maybe one of my answers. Like, and there are more answers than people think. I think there are a lot of kind of like deeper conservative themes, not to get like Charlie Kirk with it, but there are kind of like more things are conservative than you want to admit, and that's not always a good thing. But like, I'm
not sure I understand why you say it's a conservative film, because it doesn't seem to me that it's portraying like the homophobia as a good thing.
No, not at all. But I think it kind of, to an extent, accurately diagnoses kind of new forms of capitalism as being based in like sexual and like pathological jealousy, right? Which is like it's not valorizing the old stuff, right? Like that sort of like colonial photo is in there for a reason, right? And I think it's one of the things that saves it. But I think it sort of like grapples with a British establishment and a British class system that is stable in what it does. Right. And what it does is terrible, but like it sort of like it constructs the banks, right, and is now being kind of ravaged and ultimately killed by like a kind of a class destabilization, by a class struggle in the sense of like a middle class trying to get up, and one that is fundamentally unstable and needy and jealous and sort of like lonely, and contains all of these kind of weaknesses within it that drive it towards violence.
Right.
And I think articulating that in terms of crime specifically, that's why I think it's conservative.
Do you think this movie predicts the vibe of like the jet ski shop owner who like votes Donald Trump, and the sort of like small business petrochemical person who like loves reform?
As you said, those people tend to express their kind of grievances in kind of like sexual form, right? Or in sort of like quasi-sexual form. So yeah, absolutely, I do. I'm not saying it's sort of diagnosis is incorrect. I'm saying that it's sort of like engaging in a conservative mode of discourse to get there. I don't think that necessarily means Jonathan Glazer is himself personally conservative, so much as that it's coming from a kind of like more, I guess, trad position there, if that makes sense. I don't know that it takes a kind of viewpoint on it other than it's fucking weird that this is happening.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really offer like a woke alternative, does it? Yeah, fair enough. Interesting. Well, we are the modern day Siskel and Ebert. I think that's the first thing we can conclude from this. We had bringing you fucking poetry in your movie analysis podcast?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And they say film criticism is dead. It's not being dead. It's just being done by sexy beast podcasters.
That's right.
But I tell you what, we don't have to just rate this film based on, fucking vibes and poetry. We can also bring in some science.
This has only happened, I think, twice before, maybe, but we've spoken about this movie for longer than the runtime of the movie. We've done
worth it.
Awesome.
It is absolutely worth it. Yeah.
Easy. Movies.
And I gotta be honest, I did not find a lot of good writing about this movie out there. Like I found a blog where two guys compared it to Rick and Morty. Anyway, we have a science-based system. It's called the Scum system. It stands for SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. On a scale of 0 to 7, how smarmy is Sexy Beast?
I feel like I'm going to give it points and then take some back for sincerity.
Yeah, it's very sincere about how much you should love your wife.
Yes. I think Gal is a sincere character. God, he really is quite an aimlessly named character as well. Gal Dove, the kind of feminized, pacified. Yeah, no. Anyway, yeah. I think it's not hugely smarmy just because it grounds itself in loving your wife sincerely is the thing that drives all of these people insane, right? You can see bits of that again in, not to keep mentioning one battle after another, but it is kind of like why are fascists so kind of like weirdly needy for affection? So yeah, I could go something really low on here, maybe.
I could see this really low. Yeah,
could do like a 1 or a 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one reckon, even. Yeah. Like, I don't know what would be smarmy about this movie.
I think some of it's definitely got some of the first movie director really like showing off their juice, which I think is kind of fine.
Which I guess coming from like being a music video director, though, I guess that makes some sense.
The little stylistic flourishes.
What a fucking glow up, debut, though! Right? I mean, consider some of the other like music video director people that we've seen. I mean, consider the remake of Point Break, which was our previous mainline episode, where that was just a series of music videos. I mean, let's also take the time to say Jonathan Glazer makes fucking good movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I think we also have to say this was the style at the time, right? If you put it next to Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, right? Or also even some of Glazer's previous work in commercials, like the thing that like every British person knows but doesn't know that he's done is, you know, the Guinness "Good Things Come to Those Who Wait" surfer ad. Oh. You can hear bits of the kind of like bass line in this drop, like the
now this chairman's not as big a prick as he looks.
Kind of
he knows it.
Driving, that's in there, but also things like some of the camera tricks, like there's a bit where Teddy swings his car door open, the camera is attached to the door and then swings back. All of that stuff is like, that was the kind of form that Guy Ritchie was experimenting with. And it's something that I think Glazer kind of does better in some cases. But it is a bit obtrusive sometimes. So yeah, I'd say 1 or 2 points for that, maybe.
1 or 2? What do we think?
I say 1.
Give it 1.
Okay.
Give it 1, yeah.
1 it is. Cultural insensitivity. Now, I think I'm right in saying every character in this is white.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are definitely right.
Yeah.
It's not interested in an Englishness that isn't about white people.
That's very true.
To be fair, it does present Englishness as a kind of like psychic spectre that haunts you for the rest of your life, which is true.
Yeah. We were talking before the episode about like how I said it has a positive view of Britishness, and you went, it's got a positive view of British expats. But of actual Britain, it hates Britain.
It hates white, cishet, like British men, particularly.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the only, I mean, as they should, but I think the only, we do explore the degree to which the establishment is based on sexual violence, but it's always sexual violence against white women. The only gesture we have towards the kind of sexual others who are being exploited being racialized as well is the colonial photo, which is like, I would have been interested to see you go further with that. You know, I question like, what would this film have been if Dee Dee had been a woman of color, you know?
Yeah, I think that one photo is saving grace, right, in terms of my importance to reading that movie in a lot of ways.
It's a shame that it's kind of a footnote, though.
Yes, yeah, I agree. That's what I mean, is it doesn't like, it's the thing that stops it being actively bad rather than the thing that makes it good, if you follow.
Yeah,
like,
I see.
I like that it's there. I think it's good that it is. But it's like necessary but insufficient, right? So we do what, like 2 or 3 for omission?
2 is omission.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty strong omission, because I think that photo shows us that they know that there's more to be said here.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, did all these characters, again, I think it would have been actually quite a good and thematic casting choice if Dee Dee was a woman of color. And you know, not to bash the actress who played Dee Dee, but
no, she's great. But like, I think also if you think about the kind of composition of the gang and all of the other people there, it does reflect a kind of implicit like racism within those circles, which is something which you know is I think again kind of implicitly portrayed negatively. Like all of these people seem disgusting to us, but like I don't know. I would go for like a 3 maybe, or a 4.
I can see a 3.
A 3, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Unprovoked violence. There is a lot of violence in the film. It doesn't really ask us to endorse that. The only violence committed by the heroes is arguably self-defensive.
It is absolutely self-defensive. I mean, it does posit a kind of person to whom your only recourse is killing them.
Sometimes there's a guy who's just so annoying that you're like, well, you gotta do it,
you know,
haven't you?
I'm not sure I completely disagree with that stance.
No, absolutely. Right. That's absolutely real. Like I absolutely vouch for that. But like I don't say vouch for that in the sense of like personal experience. I just mean
the title of the podcast isn't Debate James Bond.
No, absolutely not. I think it shows
Prove James Bond wrong.
Change James Bond's
righteous
mind.
killing in self-defense.
Yeah.
But like Gal is like a sort of like victim of Don's violence. We see that he feels guilty about his own previous participation in crime. He's like haunted by it. He feels threatened by it. I think it's got to be really low, right? Like,
yeah, I'm struggling to think of any violence. The film, I mean, the villains definitely like engage in violence. Even the way the violence is shot doesn't really ask us to think of it as like cool or spectacular. It's more often
genuinely
shocking and disturbing.
I could see my way to a 1 on this because the whole thing is provoked violence.
Yeah, which I think is unusual for a film that depicts so much violence, but I don't think it asks us to endorse it.
No, not at all.
So finally, misogyny.
Now this is interesting.
That last one. Okay, right. Let's think here. There's some amount of misogyny. There are misogyny from some characters. Obviously, our villain, right? Our Don is extremely misogynistic about Dee Dee's past as a sex worker, as a porn actress. Like our hero is not at all.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like loving his wife sincerely.
Yeah. We see a lot of depiction of misogyny that is, I would say, unambiguously negative.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
Like I think
guy's
even
bad,
like
partly because he is a misogynist. Or
exactly, it does character. It establishes character in Don in the sense of like he is someone who will turn on the misogyny actively in an attempt to sort of like persecute others, right, and to sort of like bolster his own self-esteem. I think as a portrait of a misogynist, it's a very strong one, right? Whereas Gal's relationship with his wife is like they're equals, and like he's protective of her in the sense that he stands up for her, but like we don't see him undergo a lot of kind of like deep personal crisis about not being some sort of like masculine protector of her, you know? Like she stands up for herself. Yeah. She isn't intimidated by Don.
Similarly, again, like Jackie is intimidated by Don, but she's not a sort of passive object. We're also told that, you know, H loves Jackie. They love each other.
Yeah. It doesn't even hold the sort of like cuckolding, if that's what it was, of H sort of against him as even like a real thing. It's something that's ridiculous. It's something that like makes Jackie feel bad in retrospect, but it's mostly something that makes Don seem strange for obsessing over.
Yeah. Whilst most of the characters in the film are men, I think that is acceptable if you're telling a story that is like about masculinity and in a way about misogyny and the way men are when it's all men.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think the film would almost have been weaker had half the crew been women, for instance. I think it's definitely part of Teddy's fucking anxiety about being treated like a woman that he's also surrounding himself with a bunch of buff dudes in trunks.
Yeah, absolutely. I could once again, I could see 1. Is this going to be the best film we've done?
I think it is.
I could see myself to a 1 as well, maybe. Yeah.
Do it.
That gives a total score of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives it a total score of 6, which means it is not the best film we've ever seen. Not quite. The best film we've ever seen is still Top Copy, which was 5. As was the Quiller Memorandum. The Quiller Memorandum and Top Copy are still in joint first place, but this is now joint second place with The Bourne Identity. So it's on the podium, silver medal winner. Unlike the podcast Kill James Bond, this film is winning an award. Yeah, second best film we've ever seen.
Pretty good.
That tracks, actually.
I think it deserves it. I think this is one of the best films I've seen recently. God, Jonathan Glazer fucking killing it, making good movies.
Yes,
shout out to him, Rising Star Award.
5 movies, all of them bangers.
Beauty influencer of the year, Jonathan Glazer.
Does not miss. In the heat of battle, 4, right? He don't miss. In the heat of controversy, he don't miss. There's a distinct thing I remember about Jonathan Glazer, which is when he sort of won the Oscar for Zone of Interest. he said that he repudiated his Jewishness being used to justify a genocide, right? And in the most cynical, the most breathtakingly cynical kind of exercise of Hespera I've seen, there a lot of people kind of quoted that selectively to say that, like, what he said, all of what he said was that he repudiated his Jewishness, like, because of Israel, maybe. And it's just like, that's one of the most egregious things I've seen. I remember Jay Rayner, like the restaurant critic, otherwise sensible, being like, sort of like, well, I don't repudiate my Jewishness. And it's like, you're a fucking
You need to
rude.
read the rest of the sentence, my brother.
Yeah.
You have only had the starter. You must have the main course.
Yeah, so we rate Jonathan Glazer is where I'm going with this.
We like the guy.
And so
We're glazing him.
Deserved. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Sexy Beast. What a movie.
Thank you for showing us this November.
Oh, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
Banger.
Our next bonus episode, do we know what that's going to be?
Yes, it's White Noise. It's your pick.
White Noise. It's your
it's White
pick, November.
Noise.
It's White
Yes.
Noise.
Yeah, bonus next
okay,
is White Noise.
perfect.
After that, the episode comes out on the 31st of October, so we got to think of a spooky heist.
We're going to do a
next week.
scary movie.
Think of a spooky one.
Try to figure something
After
out.
that, I would like to suggest Croupier, because it's very sort of Bond adjacent, but like
All right, cool. We've got to do layer cake at some point too.
Absolutely,
we'll do
absolutely. So like this is cleaning up a lot of sort of like Bond adjacent stuff that we should have done ages ago, like Croupier, like layer cake. Yeah, absolutely. Just mop it up with the layer cake at the end of the meal.
Get to it. Don't worry.
Yes. In the meantime, subscribe to the Patreon. Listen to the next bonus episode. It's going to be great because it's a great movie and I love it. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. I actually just remembered an anecdote about the ITV Creator Awards that I had intended to tell on the podcast, but I'll put it in here anyway. Why not? On the way in, after we got our sort of little red carpet pictures. The red carpets on these things are bullshit, by the way. There's just like a little bit of red carpet in the lobby and you're up against a backdrop and they just take the photos of you there. It's bullshit, basically. But after we'd gotten our photos on there, we went through into the main hall and there were people either side giving out champagne, and as I reached to grab some champagne from the person closest to the door, she leans in and goes, "I love your fit, Devon." And I don't even remember what I said. I got flashbanged by that, if I'm completely honest with you, but I hope that she knows she made my fucking day. That was fantastic. Kill James Bond. Management may not know who we are, but the staff know who we fucking are. And that, I think, is the best summary of Kill James Bond I could have ever hoped for. Either way, thank you for listening. 2 weeks' time on the free feed. It's something. But if that is simply too long for you to wait, then we have a Patreon, patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, and you can go over there and sign up today, and the next bonus episode will be White Noise. Special thanks, of course, to our £15 and above Patreon supporters, and those are Lo Bjornsdottir, Candy Fox, Freya Aloysius, No Nane, Gustavo Lira, Helspeth Haunt, pretty good, Jordan Gammy, Nick Boris, Frankenstein, Hannah Oberhardt, For I Am Burdened with Glorious Beard, Naoto Mori, George Rohak, Canada Will Remember Devon's Promise, Drone Lover, Yarrick, Melody Mora Gonzalez, Live Free or Cry. If you mix beer and cola, it's fine. It's like a shandy. Labor Delenda S, The Project, Sorgenfalter, Library Hitman, Saiga, Kill James Bond Highlights, Tarp O, Trip, Jack Drummond, Max Gemainhard, Joseph Soche, Vinifera, K Maybe Okay, Rhododendron, Athena V, Ashley, Danielle Williams, Molly Powerslide, Claire Baker, Claire, Anhedonia, Globo Homo Culture Ministry, Make Fascism History Again, Annie Ruby aka Big J Wedsky, Liz Rossi, Committing to the Bit is Too Much Work, Vita Brava, Staz, Arizona Frog Strangler, oh, but committing to the bit is the only holy thing in the world. My best friend Parasocial Butterfly, Science Daddy, Maeve Victoria Roth turned in her badge and laptop. Some sort of silly Canadian creature, Joyous Ooh Woo, You really are sticking with it, huh? Alright, fine. Brisker Cirque did nothing wrong. Ray, Chris Roth, Silly Beast, Cakerden, Saturday's Claire. You know, I've never said Brisker Circuit out loud before. I think I just pronounced it with Cirque, like a sort of French ET ending. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm realizing now I've never said that out loud before. Lady Houndstooth, Robert De Niro in Heat, and I'm not apologizing. Cayenne Belladonna Defiant Gender Disaster, Gay_rat, Bush Sparing Vaginoplasty. Gen Swap Podcast, Tim Welsh, Meat Popsicle, Finn Ross, Devon needs to stop being so sexy, Krista Swisher, Elite Errands, Elite Epic Adventures in Femininity, Danielle, wow, just Daniel, I think. Britain, I just fucking trans your gender. Bosh, that's what you get. Anya Shenanigans, Clairvoyance, Rope Trick, Lady Ariane, Clarification, Wolfscott, Alex, Noblesse Oblahide, Delta Echo Victor, John 2089, Liz and Ash of the University of Florida, Isobot Gal, Obsidian Polymer, Casquatch, Sengshen, Abigail, Emily Queen of Sloths, Cassandra, Philippa is catching up on a KJP. Hi Dev, XOXO. Hi Philippa. Misidentified Lemon, brackets derogatory, Carrier, Josh Simmons, Lost Pycock, Talkative Tiger, Zoe Shepherd, Mage Hazel, Turfseed Shit and Die Alone, Al Irwing, Mistress Angela Ailes, Lauren Baston, The Duck Whisperer, Robert Greensmith, Mega B, Wolfie is Normal, Magpie, Charlotte with a D, Tofu, Smoke and Tree Pervert, Meryl is not a vampire, Groundhog, Trams Guy, I guess, Valeria Beneficia, Local Lesbian Bog Witch, and Armored Contempt. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. Kill James Bond is Abigail, November, and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Miss Nipthea. Our podcast art is by John DeLuca, and our website is by Tom Allen. And I'll see you next time.